Joe Alt is now going to be out for this season. He's having season-ending ankle surgery for his high right ankle sprain, according to a team spokesperson. Dan, you think about what this Chargers offense has been able to do at times and how important Joe Alt is to that. What's your reaction?
64 days ago, this team had 2 all-pro tackles. They have none now. This injury is, no question, season-changing, playoff-changing, Super Bowl potential changing. Imagine if the San Francisco 49ers lost Trent Williams or the Detroit Lions lost Penei Sewell. He's the most important person on their offense outside of their quarterback. Without him, they don't win games, and with him, they do. This is an enormous, enormous loss for the Chargers. Enormous.
You saw on that graphic we put up there, too, just how many injuries at key positions the Chargers are dealing with as well. Okay, to more of the action from Sunday. The Vikings and the Lions. Thank goodness they do still have Penei Sewell. That was a good thing to call out. J.J. McCarthy making his first start since week 2. He's meditating. He's getting his mind right. This is something he regularly does. He's done it since college.
Give me that.
And McCarthy throwing it to Justin Jefferson. One-handed grab. That's Jefferson's first touchdown since week 1, by the way. That's crazy. Middle third quarter, Vikings up 17-14. David Montgomery gets the run, but Cashman punching the ball out there.
Blake Cashman is huge for this team. He missed some games early on this season. The chase and pursuit to the ball, then the ball awareness and savvy to punch it out.
The Vikings driving after the turnover, and they are able to capitalize. McCarthy escaping pressure. He looks really good. Turning on the Jets, the Vikings extend the lead 24-14. Remember, they're going into Detroit and doing this. 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Detroit trailing 27-17. Jared Goff goes deep to Jameson Williams, lunging into the end zone.
Outstanding play by J-Mo.
Now, it's actually just a great throw, too.
Yeah,
you look at that coverage to be able to throw that football right there and then finish without stepping out of bounds.
How about that throw, too, RC, to Jalen Naylor?
This is a great rub route. This was awesome by KOC, understanding he would get man-to-man and attacking Arthur Millette in the slot.
3rd and 5, game on the line. What a throw.
Vikings pull off a big win on the road, an upset win, of course. And Dan, Peter, where was this game won by McCarthy?
It's interesting. He hasn't played, obviously, in 5 weeks. So what do? He can't practice. So I was told that all week leading up to the Chargers game, he was going through just the stuff at the line that he could control. So imagine not being able to practice all week, but still being able to be present and understand it. Guys, no delay of game penalties yesterday. They're on the road against the Lions. All of the things he possibly could have done in the weeks leading up to this that he physically couldn't do because of his ankle, he did. You saw the reaction in the locker room afterwards. This team, not only the front office and the coaching staff, which we've heard a lot about, this team, the players, they are all in on this guy, and that is his second victory on the road in the division. Guess what? They're 2-0 in the division. Season really starts now for them. Packers lost yesterday. Bears are obviously up and down. And the Lions, they beat just yesterday in their building. So they are feeling good, and this guy did everything he possibly could without actually being on the field during practice. Then he used his legs and looked really good on the field during the game.
I think the best thing is when he's confident, there's no hesitation. He does not flinch. And the more, this is why this was actually a good matchup. And now that post-game, thinking about it, so much man coverage from Detroit. Oftentimes as a quarterback, you're like, oh, it's man, I'm going to go throw the ball to JJ. And so that just breeds that confidence. When JJ, even though he's got a small body of work, when JJ gets to line of scrimmage and he can really see what the defense is doing and he predetermines where he's going to throw the football, he can throw it, man. He can cut it loose. So the more that, and I love how aggressive KOC was early on, anticipating man coverage to allow the quarterback to cut it loose.
He felt like he had the answers to the test a lot of the time.
I see you, Andrew Hawkins.
Yeah, okay. I was trying to. All right, defensively, RC, Minnesota held the Lions in check most of the day, and this is a Lions offense that's been so good. How did they do it?
I mean, if you would have asked me last year in 2024 who attacked Brian Flores the best, I would have said the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff. Yesterday, it wasn't that, and that's because Brian Flores was self-aware, and he changed some things up. There were a lot of blitzes from the middle of the formation. A ton of it was simulated and disguised, and so it wasn't one of those things where Jared Goff always knew where the pressure was coming from or that there actually was pressure, and it made him hold the football inside the pocket, and I thought those linebackers did an amazing job of putting pressure on Jared.
Yeah, we were geeking out during the game watching some of these five-man pressures, RC and I were, because I thought they were so well designed. The five-man pressures had a 60% pressure rate and 3 sacks. And watching it, what they would do is they would simulate pressure on the outside, Van Ginkel or such, get those tackles to defend air, essentially, and then they would cross-dog the linebackers. What you do when you do that is you force Jahmyr Gibbs to stay in pass protection so he can't leak out as a check down option, but it's a mismatch for him, especially, by the way, when Jared Goff turns his back on play action. That's a hard task for Jahmyr Gibbs against a linebacker like Pace Jr. who's coming barreling down. It's also the correct way to attack Jared Goff. Pressure up the middle. I thought it was a brilliant game plan from a pressure perspective. One of Brian Flores' best yet.
And I thought also too on the back end though, Dan, they didn't give it away. They didn't give it away to Jared Goff where the football could go right now.
Sure.
They also disguised the coverage along with the pressure.
Yeah, I think the coverage point is brilliant. They made the backs be the blitz target rather than the offensive line. And that, both Gibbs
Drew a circle on
and
him.
Montgomery struggled in pass protection.
Undefeated in the division.
Just to shut it down. I don't see no competition when I come around.
I'm gonna bust this up when we get down here. Plates on plates. I'm gonna bust this up.
He's done. He's busted up.
That got the joint jumping. Oh, it's big boy football. It's blocked. They can't hold me down. Better pull up, watch me shut it down.
I'm gonna bust it up when we get down here.
I have a question, guys. How did the bust that stuff up promo go from just Marcus doing that to now it's like a mix of B&B too?
Well, because
like every highlight was like a big guy.
Good things.
He's a walking highlight.
It's all about
They must
his
love editing
stardom.
that so much.
Well, I
My
mean,
dog Busta Rhymes say respect the conglomerate.
if you notice, the conglomerate had some extra in there after last week because you were getting down.
I had that same food, same plate,
You did.
and it tastes exactly the same.
But he didn't
Except
eat
for
it.
that
He didn't eat it the
burn.
same because he don't eat carbs. No
Yeah,
more. That's why
he on that diet.
A
He
little
ate
less
the meat,
hard.
though.
Moderation.
All right. Listen, everything in moderation, including moderation. Okay,
No,
go
you-
ahead. Who ate on Sunday?
So y'all know I don't like picking like good performances for bust that ish up. I like hits. And my dog Aziz Al-Shahir.
Oh boy.
Buddy,
The flats
I know
against
what this is
running
gonna be.
back. I'd have went and punched Bo Nix in this chin after he got me hit like this.
Oh, God.
Oh, Lord.
Zero,
That is 90s.
zero is hammer meet nail. He tries to make every tackle like this. You got to respect him as a football player. Sometimes he get a little carried away. We all know that.
Uh-oh.
But Aziz, you
Jacked
should
up.
be on bust that ish up for what you did to J.K. Dobbins in the flats.
And for the Steelers defense, they had a funeral for you before the game, but like they said, the dead has arisen, and I am happy for it. It was a great performance by the Steelers defense. 5 turnovers on Daniel Jones. They had 3 interceptions, 2 sack forced fumbles, and it was big play after big play. And this team has been asked to finish the game, and they did that yesterday. Great job by Terrell Austin's unit.
I know we are in the house that Jerry built, and he fancies himself a landman, but I got to call out Nate Landman, who had the perfect peanut punch yesterday in this game against the Saints. This is technique. This is what you practice. Watch Landman here from this angle, number 53.
Wow.
Just says, I see that ball, and he punches that thing like he's Peanut Tillman, knocks it loose. Hey, Stafford's getting all the love, and Daniel give it to him. The defense is playing well, too. Landman in the house.
How did you know I was going with them next? Is he the
looked
best
at the
quarterback in
rundown.
football right now? Matthew Stafford? Right?
Hard to argue he not.
He's up there.
Another 4 yesterday. Should have had 5. They took 1 away from him. Right now this season, he's got 21 touchdown passes and 2 picks. He's as hot as anyone, and it's the most explosive pass game in the NFL. Some of the throws that he is making.
That one right there.
This no look is the dumbest thing
Yeah.
over the weekend. That ball 30 yards on the nails down the field, and him and Devontae are on the same page right now, as good as anybody right
Man,
now.
I know the Falcons lost, but Drake London doing everything he can to bring honor back to that first name.
Grown
He
man.
went crazy in this game. Consider the competition. The go ball. That was against Christian Gonzalez. He comes back for it. The blaze out versus Carlton Davis, and then the one-hander in the end zone. He was unbelievable in this game. It felt like every time they threw to him, something incredible happened. And then they lost because of their kicker.
Oh, okay. Early second quarter, Colts lead 7-0. Daniel Jones has sacked T.J. Watt, knocking the ball out too.
Unbelievable bend by T.J. Watt, and just the awareness of where the ball is, one-hand swipe takeaway.
Ensuing Steelers drive, 3rd and goal from the 1. Jalen Warren taking it up the middle for the touchdown. Steelers tie the game at 7. Next Colts drive, Jones dropping back and throwing an interception right to Peyton Wilson.
This is a great play by Peyton Wilson. He's man-to-man on the tight end, falls right back into the throwing lane, and then you see that 4-4 speed.
So 2 plays later, can they capitalize? Aaron Rodgers finds Pat Fryermuth for the touchdown. Steelers take the 14-7 lead. Late 3rd quarter, Colts trailing 17-7. They haven't done that much, and Jones throwing a pass that's tipped and then intercepted by Jack Sawyer.
We called it BBB, bad break bro. Just a really good awareness play. Nothing you can do. Peyton Wilson wear on the front.
I definitely thought it was some sort of plastic
I know, like, what is that going to, I need one of those. All right, Steelers go up 24-7. 8 minutes to play. Colts trailing 24-10. Jones stripped by Alex Highsmith, and the ball is recovered by Pittsburgh. I mean, this defense was all over it. Huge game from the pass rush. Under 3 minutes in the game. Jones down the sideline, intercepted by Joey Porter Jr. His dad.
I love that.
Come on now.
Son played really good yesterday.
Oh my goodness, the Steelers defense dominated the Colts. That feels like an understatement somehow. They had 6 takeaways, 24 points off turnovers, both the second most in any game under Mike Tomlin. They allowed just 55 rushing yards and a 13 total QBR, both much better than their season averages entering the week. Maybe they saw that funeral, RC. It gave them a little bit. They need that as motivation, okay? But watching the game back, you had some flashbacks to your time with Tomlin. What was that?
In 2008, Coach Tomlin would always talk about 8-player games, and it was obviously the Baltimore Ravens, or if you played the New England Patriots. In the AFC Championships, he says it again, right? It's an 8-player game, and we're walking out to the field. He puts his arm around me, and he goes, and I'm talking about you. And it was kind of the first time that I had that feeling that, okay, this is the opportunities for the best players on the team to step up. Yesterday was an 8-player game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if you saw that highlight, you saw T.J. Watt and you saw Joey Porter Jr., you saw Peyton Wilson making plays. You saw, when you watched that game, the physicality from Jalen Ramsey at the safety position. It was play after play made by top-notch, big-name football players. And they've been expecting that from the general manager, Omar Khan, the way he engineered this defense throughout this offseason by paying big money to people that can make huge plays. And it just was reminiscent of watching Troy and of watching Debo and of watching Kiesel and James Ferrier, Casey Hampton. All of these guys make plays because they're 8 players, and you got to show up on those days.
And I never had a coach do that in the league.
Earlier in the show, there was a stat about you being 0-8 on the road, and I decided not to use it because
Go to Mina.
I ended
Dan
up
got like the most low-light stats.
No, you were 2-2 at home, though. It's good.
Man.
Go ahead, Mina.
Like J.J. McCarthy.
So obviously they wanted the line of scrimmage. The Colts tackles, I thought, had a pretty rough day at the office. Watt, Highsmith, the big names. The more Nick Herbig is on the field, the better. I generally feel that way.
Nick Herbig.
He's so good. I don't know why he play more. But the other thing I wanted to emphasize, aside from the pass rush, was I thought they were less predictable in coverage. Over the last really through much of this season, it felt like offenses knew, oh, it's first down. Steelers are going to play single high. Jamar Chase said that. He was like, we knew exactly what they were going to do, and so it was really easy for them to attack. You saw the same thing with Green Bay. In this game, they cut the amount of single high they played on first down in half. They played way more quarters, and I thought that unpredictability – what are you smiling about? I thought that unpredictability actually confused Indianapolis, because you went in that thinking this team is going to annihilate their single high, and then it wasn't what they were presenting to them.
Well, also, too, Dan, before you go, this was the most athletic they'd been on the back end.
Yeah.
Kyle Duggar and Jalen Ramsey at the safety.
Yeah, we were talking about
Duggar was used.
It was so much athleticism in the middle of the field.
They took Indy's strength and turned it into a weakness. So Indy's strength offensively has been, they've been the most pass-aggressive offense on early downs
play action
in the NFL. So in many ways, like the Steelers took passing coverages and played them on early downs. Like, this is second down. They're playing 2-man. Usually this is a defense that is predicated on third and obvious. And then anticipating, this is a first down underneath the center play action. He sees the guard set. Queen triggers. This is not a traditional 1st and 10 call by this defense. They're playing that sticky man coverage. There's Joey Porter Jr. on the breakdown. I agree. That's why I laughed when you were saying so much more shell. So often I was like 1st and 10, 2-man. 1st and 10, 2-man. Second,
very different.
Very different. And they knew that the Colts wanted to throw the ball in early downs because it's what they've done so great, and they flipped it on their heads. It was by far the Steelers' best, at least plan defense.
That's how other teams should play the Colts too.
Can we talk about the Colts? Because we've been doing a parade for the Colts for 2 weeks or 2 months to the season, and I dismissively called them the Scott Hansen special, meaning they're not on prime time. You don't necessarily want, they're just seeing them in red zone spots. And here's Jason Taylor, or here's Jonathan Taylor, and here's this play. This was a test with all eyes watching them. After a week of the national media giving them their flowers and crowning Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor in that MVP talk, and they were outplayed by the Steelers. They have 3 interesting tests coming up. They're in a lone window in Berlin this weekend against the Falcons. Then they've got the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Then they play the Texans, who have been the long winners of that division the last several years. I am fascinated. You know, Belichick used to say, the season doesn't start until Thanksgiving. That's when the season really starts. For this team, I think it starts November 1st. I think it starts now. What are the Colts? They got their flowers the first 2 months. Now everyone's watching for them. They're not going to be this surprise team coming along the way.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Quinn, one of the best out there. You feel for everybody in this situation, and we'll keep an eye on what that MRI comes back with for Jayden Daniels today. We're going to get to Seattle in just a minute, but are you okay with Jayden still being out there that late in the game?
No, I wasn't, but I do want to say this. Kudos to Dan Quinn for at least accepting the responsibility. We're not going back in time, so no, you can't go change it, but I do have great appreciation for him owning that. I want to go forward. Number 1, let's shut him down. You're not a playoff football team, and you know it. You know your defense isn't good enough. Let's make sure that this young man that's been hit more than anybody in football, quarterback-wise, since the start of last season, 322 times, let's get him healthy. And then the second thing, and this is probably the biggest, how do we fix it? How do we change it? How do we make this a learning moment for them as an organization, for that young quarterback to say, you're unbelievable, you're special, you're the most important thing in our building? Let's make sure that the injury concerns of the past aren't part of your future.
Yeah, they need to. They got to make a change there.
So how do they go about doing that?
Well, that's going to be what's interesting. All right, Mina, how did the Seahawks get it done?
I mean, offensively, you don't put the kind of numbers Sam Darnold did yesterday unless 2 things are true. 1, you have to be unbelievably accurate, which he was, super decisive, and then he had total faith in the structure of his offense, as he should. In fact, watching them against Dan Quinn's defense, frankly, it was kind of reminiscent of watching the Shanahan-McVay offenses of like 2017 through 21 attack the late-stage Pete Carroll defense when they played cover 3. It just felt like they knew all of the rules. They knew all of the voids and coverages, particularly when they played either cover 3 or man, which are the 2 coverages that the Washington plays the most.
What a throw!
And it's I know. It's hard for me to blame Washington, though, because I think they're so devoid of talent at all 3 levels, and they have no pass rush. It's not like I can say, well, just play shell or do something else. But unfortunately for them, Seattle was both talented and had the scheme to beat them, and Sam Darnold executed upon it.
It's a really appropriate analogy in comparing them to those late 2000 teens, Shanahan and McVay, because Tan and I did the game a couple of weeks ago, and Darnold comes from a Kevin O'Connell, which is a McVay offense. Clint Kubiak comes from Kyle Shanahan, which is the Shanahan offense. They blend them together on that Seattle offense, and you see it every week. I would also give John Schneider a lot of credit here, the general manager of the Seahawks. They said goodbye to DK Metcalf. They said goodbye to Tyler Lockett, and they rely on all 70 on this team. We're talking about Ty Okada having a huge interception in a big moment. Tyrese Knight having a huge play. Arroyo, a position they didn't necessarily need. They drafted him, a tight end. He was awesome yesterday. We know about the McDonald hire has been praised. We know that Jackson Smith and Jake has been fantastic. This team goes 70 deep, and I think Schneider found a way to rebuild this team without them really missing a beat and a completely different brand of personnel.
And along those lines, Torrey Horton is a real player.
Yes, he is.
Now, when you got a quarterback like Sam who's bombing it downfield, it's almost like Addison's role, and with the Minnesota Vikings, complimenting Jackson Smith and Jigba, he's somebody to be worried about.
Darnold has 3 games with a 97 total QBR this season. Just
good for Sam Darnold.
Really, really cool. The sympathizers unite.
I know we're back.
Never left anymore.